Welcome to this Earth Meridian Yin Yoga practice. This is a grounding sequence designed to support the energetic pathways connected to the Earth element. This practice invites you to turn inward, to reconnect with your center. If you've been following this series, you'll know that in traditional Chinese medicine, each element has its own season, its own organ system, and its own meridian pathways that run through the body. Earth is the center. The transitional season of late summer and the spleen and stomach are the two meridians we'll be targeting in today's class. Let's begin in a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Take the biggest breath you've taken all day. Inhaling through your nose. Let your breath fill you all the way down into your lower belly. And as you exhale, let your body settle. Shoulders relax down, belly softens, the weight of your hips dropping into the ground. Take a few more intentional breaths like this. Now bring your awareness to the center of your belly. Can you sense your breath in this space? In traditional Chinese medicine, this region is called the hara or the dantian. It is our energetic center. Throughout this practice, keep coming back to this center of transformation and grounding. We're going to move through 4 poses today, each with a short rebound and a counter pose. Yin Yoga asks you to find your comfortable edge, enough sensation that you can feel the tissue responding, but not so much that your nervous system braces against it. The tissues we're targeting today are the fascia and connective tissues along the inner leg and the front of the thigh, which is exactly where the spleen and stomach channels travel. Let's start in butterfly. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees drop open to the sides. Allow your feet to be a comfortable distance from your pelvis. Now fold gently forward from the hips rather than the waist. Let your spine softly round. You can rest your forearms on your feet or simply let your hands rest on the floor in front of you. Or you can just let your head hang. The spleen meridian begins at the big toe and travels up the inner edge of the foot, along the inner leg, all the way up to the chest. Right now, with your inner groins open and your inner thighs lengthening, you're creating a sustained, gentle stretch along this pathway. In Yin Yoga, we're not targeting muscle. We're targeting the fascia, the connective tissue that surrounds and penetrates everything. Fascia is rich in sensory cells that respond to pressure and stretch. So when we hold a pose for 3 or 4 minutes, we give those receptors time to signal to the nervous system, which in turn can influence the autonomic nervous system, shifting us toward the parasympathetic, toward rest. And that's not just relaxation. In traditional Chinese medicine terms, that shift supports the spleen's function. When we're in fight or flight, digestion literally and metaphorically shuts down. When we're here, it opens. If your mind is busy right now, notice that. This is a very common earth imbalance. The Zen approach isn't to stop thinking, but to stop feeding it. Let thoughts arise and pass like clouds. You don't have to follow them anywhere. In Zen Buddhist thought, the earth element represents our capacity to receive, to transform, and to nourish both ourselves and others. The Zen teacher Shunryu Suzuki talked about what he called beginner's mind, approaching each moment without preconception. That quality of open receptivity, that's earth energy. That's the spleen. You're doing great. We'll be here a little longer to let the tissues slowly yield. Notice the dull ache or stretch along the inner thigh or groin. That's an appropriate sensation. But if there's any sharp pinching or joint pain, ease out. Slowly walk your hands back and let your legs straighten in front of you. Now simply lie back or remain seated. Let your legs rest heavy and close your eyes. Notice what you feel. Perhaps warmth along the inner legs, perhaps a sense of spaciousness in the hips. This is the rebound, where the body is integrating the work. And when you are ready, come to a kneeling position. If saddle pose is in your practice, you may choose to practice with both legs bent. We're going to do the one leg variation. So extend your right leg straight in front of you. Your left knee stays bent with your left foot pointing back beside your hip. Now begin to recline back. You may stay upright on your hands, come onto your elbows, or if it's available, lie back fully. Make any adjustments, and when the pose feels sustainable, become still. The stomach meridian runs along the front of the body, from below the eye, down the throat and chest, across the abdomen, down the front of the thigh, the shin, and ends at the second toe. In this reclined position, you're creating a long, sustained stretch along the entire front of the left thigh and hip, directly targeting the stomach channel. At the same time, the compression through the folded left knee stimulates the connective tissue around the knee, where several meridian lines converge, including the spleen channel at the inner knee. There's a concept in traditional Chinese medicine called qi stagnation. When energy doesn't move freely through the meridian pathways, we experience pain, tension, or emotional congestion. Sustained compression and release on connective tissue helps move interstitial fluid, that fluid that bathes our cells, flushing the tissue, much like squeezing a sponge. Let's transition to the other side. Gently bring yourself back up and change legs, tucking your right leg under and extending the left leg long. Take your time to settle in. Each side is different. Find your edge on this side and then let yourself become still. In Zen, there's a practice called just sitting, shikantaza, where the instruction is simply to sit without trying to achieve a meditative state. In Yin, we can practice shikantaza, quieting the mind and body. We can be with just this breath, just this sensation, just this moment. Exactly as it is. Not trying to deepen the pose, not trying to relax. Just being exactly where you are. Slowly press yourself back up. Release both legs long and sit tall for a few moments in stillness, or gently fold forward into caterpillar. And when you are ready, make your way into a counter pose. Wide knee child's pose. Arms extending or resting alongside the body. Let the hips settle back toward the heels. Breathe here. Let the back of the body soften. Notice the quiet work of your breath. Each exhale is an invitation to soften, to let go of any holding. Bring your awareness into your hara, that earth center of transformation located in the core of your belly. Send your breath here, receiving the steady nourishment of this life force energy. And slowly coming up onto all fours to prepare to move into our final pose, Dragon Lunge. Begin by stepping your right foot forward between your hands into a low lunge. Your left knee rests on the mat. You can tuck the toes or let the top of the foot rest flat. Hands remain on the floor, on blocks or on the front thigh. The hips are sinking forward and down. Settle into your just right variation. If you practice a deeper variation of dragon, feel free to move toward your perfect edge. Dragon pose is one of the deepest hip flexor stretches in the yin practice. And the hip flexors are intimately connected to the stomach meridian. The stomach channel travels from the front of the hip and along the front of the thigh. In a deep, low lunge, the entire front of the back leg hip is elongated under sustained load. The fascia begins to creep, a term from biomechanics referring to the slow deformation of connective tissue under constant load. This is the mechanism underlying long holds in yin. But there's something else happening too. The psoas, the deep hip flexor muscle, has long been understood in somatic traditions as a repository of stress. It's the muscle that contracts in a fear response, drawing the body into a fetal curl. Chronically tight psoas correlates with chronic stress patterns. Slow and mindful release supports the nervous system's return to regulation. In Chinese medicine, prolonged anxiety and worry, the emotions associated with an imbalance in earth element, can literally tighten the body. Fortunately, releasing the tissue can create space for emotions to move. Let your breath be soft and even. If sensations feel overwhelming, back off slightly. Lift the hips a little, or come onto fingertips rather than hands. You should be at an edge, not past it. I will guide you to the other side when it's time. Begin to transition to the other side. The Zen tradition speaks of sitting with what is. So take a moment to notice what sensations are present. Just notice. Ease away from over-efforting so you can just be with this moment, this breath, this sensation. One of the most grounding things we can do, one of the most earth element things we can do, is to stay present with discomfort without being consumed by it. Being in this pose offers an opportunity to practice just that. When earth energy is out of balance, we might notice excessive worry, overthinking, tendency to ruminate. We come back into balance when we can return to center. The clarity of our purpose or will resides in the hara, that energetic space in the low belly. Keep drawing awareness away from the fluctuations of the mind into the stability of the body. Step the foot back and come to your hands and knees. You could take a counter pose in downward dog, child's pose, or if you need some movement, perhaps a few rounds of cat-cow. Take your time, perhaps closing your eyes. Move slow or just rest in stillness. Feel how the body unwinds after this deep stretch. For our final pose, make your way onto your back and bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall open for Reclined Butterfly. Your arms rest alongside the body, palms up or one hand on the belly and one on the chest. We finish in a softer version of butterfly, still stimulating the spleen meridian along the inner thighs, but now the tissue has already been worked. So this is a shape of consolidation, of letting the body receive the nourishment of deep stretches. In traditional Chinese medicine theory, the spleen is the organ most responsible for yi, translated as intention, thought, or intellectual mind. When the spleen is healthy, thought is clear and purposeful. But when it's depleted, thoughts become circular, sticky, anxious. The energetic invitation is to let go of mental activity for the next few minutes. You can simply be. In Zen Buddhism, there is a teaching attributed to the master Huangbo. The foolish reject what they see, not what they think. The wise reject what they think, not what they see. Earth energy is about returning to what is direct and immediate. This breath, this sensation, this moment of the body resting on the floor. Feel the weight of your legs. Feel where your back meets the mat. Feel the breath moving in and out without any effort from you. When you are ready, extend your legs long for our final rebound in Savasana. Give yourself this time to let the body integrate. You have been working with earth energy, with the channels of nourishment, transformation, and groundedness that run through the inner legs and front of the body. You've given those tissues time, which is what Yin asks to open. The stomach and spleen meridians are called the middle burners in Chinese medicine, the center that sustains everything else. When the center is resourced, we can meet life with stability. When it's depleted, everything feels harder. This practice was for the center, for your capacity to receive, to transform, to nourish. Slowly deepen your breath. Begin to feel the edges of your fingers and toes. Maybe taking a few gentle movements. And when you are ready, roll to one side, taking your time coming up to seated. Place your hands on your thighs or in your lap. Take one full breath in through the nose and let it go. Thank you for practicing with me today. The earth element reminds us that we belong and can always return to our center. If this class was helpful to you, sharing it is one of the kindest things you can do. It helps other people find practices like this. Namaste. I'll see you next time.